Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice. I never knew when analyzing Nirvana that the drummer would become the lead singer and guitarist of Foo Fighters. Now, I do know a few bits of this song because I had a student practice it in the past, but I've never heard Dave Grohl sing it. And I've also never truly analyzed the sound of this band. So, lots of firsts. Let's get to it. Ooh.
Hello, I've waited here for you ever long. Tonight, oh, I throw myself into, and out of the red, out of her head, she said, do 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 do.
Oh, this is lovely. And for a little extra context here, I think the only other time I've heard Dave Grohl sing, I think, was as Satan with Tenacious D. So, and that was in a music video. So I really wanted to hear him sing live. And fortunately, my team found a really good live clip. It looks like live at Wembley. I love the sound quality and the video quality of this. It's fantastic. It's always such a toss-up whether or not we'll do a music video, which is perhaps the sound and the extra vision of the band that's been totally produced, or something that's live so I can see how they're creating that sound. And this is really good. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the beginning. So many lovely things. I mean, just immediately that chord progression, it creates a sense of longing and something that's unresolved for a while. And that's probably because one of the chords in there holds tension longer than you would really expect. This one holds it extra. Huh.
Hello, I've waited here for you ever long.
He just sounds like so sincere in his delivery. It's not perfect, meaning there's little bits that if you are just producing this, some producers would say, let's adjust this particular pitch, this timing, and da, 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 da," and they would really do so much that it would take the humanness out of it, unless they're a super, super smart producer. I love the way it just feels so authentic and immediately connected with his message and the audience.
Hello, hello.
I also really love the way he takes a lot of time on that H to draw us in. H's don't tend to have a lot of sound. Of course, it's just got air coming through. It's not even voiced, right? So your vocal folds aren't going wacka, wacka, wacka to create a pitch underneath the H. I don't even think there's a voiced pairing, though there are voice pairings with most consonants. No, I don't think I can figure that one out. I don't think it's voiced. And he really gives that extra time almost like as a funnel to draw us into the sound.
waited here for you.
So unweighted, when I talked about that slight imperfection that makes it more human and honestly just easier to connect to as an audience member, weighted goes a teensy bit sharp. That tells me that they're not doing a lot of tinkering on his voice in this particular performance, which is really exciting because I get to hear it truly in a very stripped down, raw kind of format. But it also, when you have a lot of longing in the sound or just energy that needs to sort of burst out of the voice, a lot of times it goes a little bit sharp. And there's an eagerness that I hear in the word weighted, right? And it's like the perfect moment to go just a teensy bit sharp. It's perfectly humanly expressive.
Hello, I've waited here for you. Everlong.
I just noticed he goes up on his toes when he sings that part. He like does a little lift that you can see from back here. Cute.
I've waited here for you. Everlong. Tonight, oh, I throw myself into and out of the red, out of her head, she said, do 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 do
That's catchy. And it does feel like it's leading into the chunky part of the main part of the song. This has just felt very intro-ish so far. But I don't know, I like the way it's catchy and it makes me want to start singing with him right away.
and out of the red, out of her head, she said, do 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 Come down and waste away with me. Down with me.
Notice how close he's getting to the mic on those low notes. That sounds like it's sort of the lower end of his range. And so there's a couple of things that he's doing that are super, super smart. One is he's getting close to the microphone. The bottom end of your range, it's going to start getting really quiet. So if you look at a cappella groups, for instance, when you hear those basses drop down to the lowest note, they almost always choke up on the microphone. They'll bring it real close to their mouth. That's exactly what he's done here. Also, some people make the mistake of trying to press those low notes out, and they'll really cut off how many pitches they can hit on the low end of their range. If you open this up and think more like a foghorn, you'll be able to get some additional pitches out. And his sounds so open with lots of air traveling through.
And waste away with me. Down with me.
It's very open.
Slow how you wanted it to be.
Nice.
Over my head, out of her head, she said.
I think it's fascinating also. A few times now he's gone up, leapt up to a note that was much higher, but been really controlled with the dynamic. Automatically, voices want to be louder when they're higher, if they're saying in the same vocal register at least. And when he leaps up to that note, it would feel, it probably would almost feel good to just sort of burst out with the sound. Instead, he keeps it really controlled to keep that dynamic level just essentially more intimate. It puts the whole thing in perspective, and I'm guessing that it'll allow for bigger growth in the song later.
You wanted it to be.
It's very controlled.
Over my head, out of her head, she said.
Oh.
And I wonder, and I sing along with.
Is he chewing gum? He is.
And I sing along with you.
Oh man, you guys might have heard me talk about this a couple times in the past, though it doesn't come up very often. chewing gum while singing slash performing. There are mixed thoughts on this. Like the big concern here is don't choke on it, right? Um, but I have to tell you, I've seen plenty of rock star performers who will have something tucked somewhere in their mouth because it actually helps them to salivate. If you continue salivating, that can help work against things like dry mouth, which a lot of people get when they're nervous. Sometimes they'll even feel dry all the way down their vocal tract, and that can be hard to get past as a performer. So if you've got a little nerves that regularly make you feel dry, you might consider what would happen if you did chew something, but just be super careful that you don't choke on it, okay? I've seen people tuck it underneath their tongue, tuck it in the side of their cheek, maybe above or lower. There's different places where you can sort of store something. But another thing you can do is actually just chew on your tongue between various sung phrases. So, you can kind of like suck on the end of it, or you can don't chew on your cheek too hard because you can create, stuff you don't want to. But you can sort of suck in places in your mouth or chew on them, and that will also do the same thing of stimulating some saliva so that your mouth doesn't get so dry. There might be other reasons as well, but that's the main one that I see and hear people using for why they might actually have something in their mouth during a performance.
And I sing along with you. If everything could ever feel this real forever.
I love, it looks like he's getting a lot of directions to the back booth, maybe on different sounds. It's interesting. There's so many things that he has to keep track of right now. It's not just the singing, the timing, the audience as well. He's very clearly connecting to them. And then standing up on his toes or not, proximity to the microphone, connecting to the people in the booth and telling them what he wants. It's just, there's a lot of things that he's juggling.
And I sing along with you. If everything could ever feel this real forever.
I love that line.
If anything could ever be this good again.
It's so thoughtful.
Only thing I'll ever ask of you, gotta promise not to stop when I say. She said.
I just got tingles. I'm sure that goosebumps I'm probably gonna have. Yeah, they're starting to prickle up right now. There's something so sweet about the way that he's pushing and pulling tempo and dynamics and is engaged very intimately with the audience. But then there's this buildup, and it feels like the audience is ready to burst. I can actually feel the audience energy in his sound. It's so cool. Look at that smile.
She said.
Oh.
Breathe out so I can breathe you in, hold you in. And now I know you've always been out of your head, out of my head I sang. And I sing along with you. If everything could ever feel this real forever.
Wow. This is such a beautiful performance and song. I just want to lay back and relax and let it seep in, it it has this incredible introspection, and uh, it also is really strangely comforting. I think it's something about his vocal tone that really is creating this overall feeling of it feels um, somehow comforting, even though it's very introspective. And I feel like there's so much questioning in there. There's a smile in his voice that it feels like there's a lot of care. I've heard that Dave Grohl is an incredibly kind person, that he'll do things like uh, show up in a truck at a homeless shelter or soup kitchen and just cook all day just to give back to humanity. Um, there's something that is so generous in his spirit and his interaction with the audience here. He's, I feel like he's giving them wonderful emotions um, and giving them like a place that feels comfortable for them to just experience how music can affect emotion. Not to mention that these lyrics are incredible. I'm gonna go back one more time.
Out of your head, out of my head I sang. And I sing along with you. If everything could ever feel this real for well,
I love that part.
if anything could ever be this good again.
I feel like the way he's singing that, he's telling us that things can be that good, really, truly that good always. He just seems like, I don't know, he seems like he's got a heart that's overflowing with goodness to share.
The only thing I'll ever ask of you, gotta promise not to stop when I say.
Huh. You know, I just realized that he, with Nirvana, he went to Foo Fighters after that. And uh and obviously after the tragic demise of Kurt Cobain. So I imagine that that's got to affect his entire outlook on life. And I'm thinking here, like, oh, there's so much joy in what he's singing and the tone he's giving to us. And just reminds me that I I think that joy is something that you can build up and sustain. Joy it's almost a choice, a way that you take your insides and your thoughts and everything, and you keep developing, keep growing, keep growing till you find joy. And you can go up and down like this, but you will always have joy there, even though one day might feel great. Maybe the next day doesn't feel so good, but that doesn't change the fact that you are joyful. And it sounds like he probably went through this like crazy and then found that underlying sense of joy and then brought it to this incredible song. Maybe that's what he's singing about, because you got to promise not to stop when I say when. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. I'll go back a little bit again.
Thing I'll ever ask of you, gotta
That's a good slide
promise
there.
not to stop when I say.
Is that the end? No, it can't be. This is way longer. Lots of gum.
Are you ready? Let's fucking go! Everything you'll ever feel makes real forever. Anything you'll ever be makes good open. One thing I'll ever ask of you. Gotta promise not to stop when I say
I wish I could have been at this concert. That build was so good. My cheeks are hurting from smiling so big. What an incredible way to build your audience up, to give them that incredible, joyful feeling or whatever they needed to experience in the moment, perhaps. And then get this drive into the song, and it feels like a burst of emotions. And I really, really love it. Okay, I'm gonna go back to that part.
Are you ready? Let's fucking go! Everything you'll ever feel makes real forever.
Okay, so he has now put pressure onto his sound, obviously. Before it was just very, very light, much more open, relaxed. And when he went down to the low notes, totally just lots of air, expanded space here. Now when he goes down, he's putting a little bit of pressure on them to give them that like extra edge and a little bit of grit there. I love the way he's added distortion to this louder part now, because it has another layer of emotion that is really cool to enjoy.
Let's fucking go!
Whoa.
Everything you'll ever feel makes real forever. Anything you'll ever be makes good open. One thing I'll ever ask of you.
I love that.
Promise not to stop when I say
I wanted them to keep going and going and going. I loved the way that burst out at the end. And I also just love the melody of this. I love the expression of different emotions that were coming through and different vocal techniques from Dave Grohl. And especially, I think that the way that he interacted with the audience was phenomenal. If you want to see some more videos that feature Dave Grohl in some way, you can check out this playlist over here, and may you fall more in love with music every day.